What are we making today, Junior?
So today we've paused on high energy clutch weights. We've been making a bunch of those, and in the machine we have throttle body adapters. So we're kind of changing up our process on those a little bit. But this is what we're building right here. So what this part does, besides looks beautiful in billet, is it replaces your throttle body boot that your reeds fit in the back of. So the reeds fit here, they kind of stick into the engine, and what that does is it gives you a place to mount the injector, so we can get the injector away from that transfer port on the back of the engine and up into the case where we have more control over the fueling. This is the reason that the BoonDocker 20 or newer Arctic Cats run better than everything else. Without this is the reason that a 20 or newer Arctic Cats kind of struggle with a turbo on them. So we kind of have to show you why or what we discovered, but when they changed the engine in 20, there used to be a what they call like a bird hole in the piston, or a slot in the piston, where the injector could spray through the port and it could spray across the ring and the piston into the bottom underneath the piston. So a little bit hard to understand if you don't know exactly what I'm talking about, but they changed it in 20. And so the injector is actually in one of the ports, and that's not unique to Arctic Cat. Polaris does that too, but Arctic Cat picked up this weird kind of a stumble. If you have a 20, 21, or 22 Arctic Cat, you can feel it on a stalker. Sometimes when you just kind of step into the throttle when you're going slow, you feel it. Maybe you would just hear it more than you would feel it, but kind of a stumble. And what happens is that the velocity in that boost port is low enough that it's not carrying the fuel up. The injector in the Arctic Cat is actually pointed down the port away from the piston, so there's not enough velocity coming up through to carry the fuel. And so it goes, they have to get it rich because it's actually running a little bit lean, so they have to over fuel it just a little bit. Why is it like that? The only reason that we could find is that the configuration of the Procline chassis and the 800 engine, there's no way to put the injectors in there perpendicular or turned up towards the piston. And so they actually spray kind of the wrong way down the throat, kind of choking the Arctic Cat a little bit. So when you put a turbo on it, all of that becomes really evident. And so when you step into the throttle on that, you get this kind of a bog. So you can do all sorts of tuning. We did all sorts of ECU tuning and remapping and chased this problem away, and you fix it. And you're all the way fixed, and then you go down the trail and you'd be too lean in a certain spot. So then you'd richen that spot back up, and you'd go back up on the mountain and you'd find this, and you think, oh, this is pretty good. And then you'd find this place on the mountain where you're just about the time you're like kind of lined up and you're ready to shoot through that gap that you've got all set up for, and you give it a throttle, and then you're done. So this fixes that. BoonDocker case injection makes your Arctic Cat run real nice.